Problem is, we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. Started dropping it. The problem is, we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. Started dropping it. The problem is, we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. Started dropping it. The problem is, we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. Started dropping it. Free Moors still attempt to infiltrate the order. Active Moors are truth, then take it to the corners. Across highways, past hedges and through borders. Move on dirty Moors like walking down waters. Watch out for agents and provocateurs trying to get next to their heads with the doctor's cures. They never pay dues and don't pay dues, contradicting with King Alfred to give dues like you. Noble Shuali died from pale more blues. Prophet saved him his money before the floor fell through, and that's true. Even though I don't have proof, still memory tells me don't fall for sleep. Drop mental moods, hanging from their own vine from the fig tree, looking up at them like baby. No white flag or mercy for you fags. 5 point and pentagram is on our flag. Green, but not for cream. That dirty Moors took to throw off the balance of the grand treasury books, getting offers like high school ballers. Those that infiltrate are not Moors but robbers, robbing the people blind, deaf, dumb, and crippled. They can't tear this up, not one drop or triple. No matter how hard they try to perpetrate the fraud, dirty Moors always fall on their sword.
Yeah, fuck these niggas. Fuck them. Islam to all the Moors. Islam to all the Moors. No, I'm just saying, fuck them niggas. They tried, but they could fuck out of here with your dumb shit.
Yeah.
Going and snitching. We got 2 pages. Now, what are you gonna do now? Now we could talk about the fact. That's why you said, what's wrong with my mic? Because you already went and snitched. That's why you could play your little games. That's why. And this is the point.
Okay.
This is the point. Try to make us look like a dumbass. Have the snitch on the thing. Right? Because remember the chat, they said they're gonna snitch. Right? Snitch on the thing. Have our stuff shut down while it's still showing that it's live or whatever. And try their whatever. But they can try. You know, they gotta try. Because their shit is over.
Yeah.
Their stuff is over. So we're gonna show you what we've been showing you that they didn't want you to see. We're just gonna go back.
You know they work for the other side.
You know they work for the other side.
Hey,
So we're just gonna go. We're gonna go over it all again. So this is why, right? So we started talking about them buying views. This is what we were talking about that you guys couldn't hear. We're talking about them buying views. And this is why they do what they did. Because they know that their time's up. And the only views that they have right now are the ones that they bought. Anybody out there that they got some type of 50,000 views, no promo and all that stuff, trust me, it's because they sold out. Straight sold you out. All these people on YouTube, they don't care about people. They don't care about people. Why do you think they keep asking you to do these smart chat and all this stuff so they can get their little donations, so they can go buy views to make people think that they got views? They don't got views. These people are losers. These people are losers. All of them are losers.
For you to know, to say,
all of them are losers.
That means you've done this before.
He knows the whole. So you can't have a mic. You know what I mean? And trust me, because the one that made me realize something's up when I told the Moors, hey, put a 7 in the thing if you can hear me. And nobody put a 7, something's going on. But I was like, all right, maybe it's just me, because I'm looking at the thing right now and it's showing that we're live.
Right.
The shit is saying live right now. I'm looking at it on the phone, and all the videos that I'm playing and showing is showing on the phone. But people on YouTube's not seeing anything. How does that work? How does that work?
Crazy.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
How does that work?
You know, to know that it's gonna know. Like I don't even know that it works like that.
Bro,
like,
it works like
have
that.
Time to sit down and figure out that that's what's gonna happen.
It works like that.
To know to say, how's your mic? You know, like, what's wrong with your mic?
What's wrong with your mic? You can't afford a mic.
How many times you've done this to people? Like, this is what you go around doing. This is their liberator guy going around messing up other people's platforms.
Right.
Because that's not nobody's homeboy or nothing like that is gonna go that hard for their boy to shut somebody else's page down. That's him himself. That's Dan Calloway listening as Native Indian truth guy. That's him listening, going on there, reporting Canaanland Morris. That's him himself. Nobody else would do it. Not a friend of a no. Because your friend is gonna tell you it's not that serious for me to have to go do all of that. It's him himself that's gonna go through all of that and do that. I don't even know how to do that. Like, how does that work? I don't even know how that works, man, to be able to shut somebody's whole thing on while they're alive. You know, I've seen where you got snitched on plenty of times, where you got strikes, man, you know, on YouTube, but not while you were going live.
No, live. Yeah.
Not like that. Live. Like, that's something I never even knew that could happen. You know, unless something was wrong with the system, you know, there's something wrong and it just shut down or something like that. But not him blatantly telling you, you know, what's wrong with your mic.
Yeah.
Like, that's all incredible. That's incredible. That's the other side. It wasn't even those other, you know, those Europeans that have you know,
the right to travel. Yeah.
Sovereign citizen.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh yeah, and we showed
literally your own.
Oh yeah, and let me show you too, because we showed this too. We were talking about this too that you didn't get to hear, right? We were talking about this too. Where did it go? Let's look for this quick fast. What was it called again? Because these people are straight playing. Hold on, let me get the name of this thing. Because I want to show you how devious these people are. How onyx, low down, gritty, and grimy they are. These people are sewer people. That's how grimy they are. Right? This is how grimy. This is how grimy they are. This is how you know that these people are the worst. The worst. So remember, he admitted that he was going to go snitch. So he went and snitched. But they're going to have their little video, American Indian Truth Guy, with my picture in there. And it doesn't have nothing to do with me. That's my picture right there. How come I'm on his video and this thing has nothing to do with me? How? Why am I even on this? Like, why am I the one being shown? How come? How come they're showing me? Like, that's me right there.
That's the clickbait.
How come they're showing me? They're showing me? Yeah. They got my picture up there?
Yeah.
But then they're going to go snitch? And then they're going to talk about, oh, this is not a slander video. This is to prove right to travel or whatever. What do you mean? How you figure that? This is what you're dealing with out here. People who are wanting to learn, trying to learn or whatever. This is what you're dealing with. You're dealing with this right here.
But he kills himself, man. Because they tell you there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yep.
It's the fact that him posting the picture up there, his followers now are gonna go. They never even heard of you. They're gonna go see who he's talking about.
They better know.
Come check your channel out.
They better check
And then once they come
Canaanland
hear the folly that he's been doing from what you've been saying, like,
yep.
Okay, you know what I mean? You already, like, he kills himself with that.
Right. People
You
playing.
just killed yourself.
Playing. That's how they do. That's what they're up to. Playing games with people. Use my picture for their video to get their little rocks off or whatever. But then going and snitching. Going and snitching. And even if they didn't snitch, they said that they were going to. You just play our video and we're going to snitch. This is what it is right now. This is what the upload social media generation has created. Conscious bitch niggas. Conscious ones. Conscious ones. People know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. Try to keep you away from your nationality and birthrights. Keep you Los Indios. They want to keep you Los Indios. They know that their stuff is over.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
You can just go yourself and go watch it. It's right here. You can go yourself because we know that they're gonna snitch now. So you can go to American Indian Council. Because we don't trust none of these whoever is now. Go American Indian Council and listen to the American Indian Council guys. The American Indian Council guys mad at Dane Calloway because he's a liar. Mad. So don't get mad. This is nuts. This is Aboriginal Council guys video. This is not us. This is the Aboriginal Council guys video. And even they're mad at Dane Calloway. And they're supposed to be on the same stuff. But what's going on? Like we said, the game is buy views. That's the game. This is what it's all about with these people. Buy views. Buy YouTube views. This is what's up. Right? Pay their $2,600 for 250,000 views. And then, we're just putting this out today. How long these people have been buying views? How long have they really been buying views?
Right. Because we just noticed that. That's new.
Right. Because we don't worry about the name of the video. Don't worry. Just know that these people are clowns. You don't have to go watch anything. We're just saying watch it. You don't have to watch it. Just letting you know that even in their own stuff, they're at each other. Buying views is what's up. for all these people who just came yesterday, and you're seeing them with 50,000 views, no promo. No promo, but I got 50,000. Right? Don't forget, you could also buy the subscribers. Don't forget, you could also buy the likes. Right? 1,000 likes for 77 notes. 1,000 likes for 77 notes. There it is. Free for you. Make your name. And don't forget, you could also do the same thing with Instagram. Go to Instagram. You want to be popular there? Don't worry. 100% money back guarantee. 17 notes for 1,000 followers. 10,000 followers, 114 notes. That's the Instagram price. That's not the YouTube price. So you gotta, this is where they're at with it. This is where they're at with it. Oh yeah, let's test out the thing. Put a 7 in the chat if you see this, if this stuff works. If our mic works now, all of a sudden our mic works. If you can hear something, just put a 7 in the chat. Oh look, there's a 7. Interesting. Interesting. All of a sudden, people could hear now. People can hear now. Good. I'm glad you could hear now. Since our mic works. So remember this clown right here, American Indian Truths guy. He has his video with somebody getting pulled over, talking about play that video. No, so you could snitch. No, we won't play, but we'll let you know. They stopped some more, pulled him out of the car, kidnapped him. Some foreigners. And here go the dirty Moors. Here go the dirty Moors. Not saying that the foreigners are doing something wrong. Not saying the foreigners are doing something wrong by violating somebody's rights. What do you mean rights? Nobody has right to travel. Oh, sorry. Let's just go to some of our Moors out here that been putting out some info.
U.S. versus Bishop. If you have relied on prior decisions of the Supreme Court, you have the perfect defense for willfulness. U.S. versus Minker. Because of what appears to be a lawful command on the surface, many citizens, because of their respect for what only appears to be a law, are cunningly coerced into waiving their rights due to ignorance. Brady versus U.S. Waivers of constitutional rights, not only must they be voluntary, they must be knowingly intelligent acts done with sufficient awareness. Ziegler versus Railroad. If any question of fact or liability be conclusively presumed against him, this is not due process of law. Scher versus Cullen. For a crime to exist, there must be an injured party, a corpus delicti. There can be no sanction or penalty imposed on one because of this constitutional right. Marbury versus Madison. The Constitution of these United States is the supreme law of the land, and any law that is repugnant to the Constitution is null and void of law. Mulger versus Kansas. Under the United States Republic's constitutional system of government, and upon the individuality and intelligence of the citizen, the state does not claim to control one's conduct due to others, leaving one the sole judge as to all that affects oneself. Miller versus Kansas. The claim and exercise of a constitutional right cannot be converted into a crime.
Oh, right to travel is a liberty. Liberty is in the Constitution, isn't it? Oh, so liberty is a constitutional right. So when they play their little BS, oh, Moore's right to travel, that doesn't work. See, this Moore got kidnapped. How come they never talk about the highwaymen violating their constitutional oath, and they're showing you Moore's getting kidnapped who look just like them? Moors look just like the Aboriginal Indigenous guys. But the Aboriginal Indigenous guys are going to upload videos using Cujo's picture. They're going to upload videos using Cujo's picture. Does a Moorish American nationality exist? Show you a highwayman pulling over a brother that looks just like these Indian guys, but they're not talking about the highwayman violating anything. They're talking about, look, see, being a Moor doesn't work. These people are fraud, especially since they're going to use my picture, which has nothing to do with this video. That's called clickbait. They're going to use my picture and say fraud Moor alert, but they're not going to say that Dane's a fraud. They're going to ride with him. And then he's on the same BS too. Of trying to convince people Young Diesel. Right? They know they're playing. They know that they're playing.
I can add on too.
Yeah, Mark. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, so the fact too, showing the whole video, they themselves call themselves the Aboriginal Indigenous people. Why when they speak, when they're doing their platform, they're called European colonists. They came here, stole the land or whatever. But then when the Moors up there, they say, see, that Moor stuff don't work. If the government doesn't see, now they're the government, they immediately going to throw a video up of a highwayman, European colonist, but now he's not. Now he's the government when it comes to kidnapping Moors.
Mm-hmm.
They're the government then. But when they're showing their platforms and they want to talk their history, they're European colonists. See, that's fraud. That's some wrongdoing right there. Like, you can't do that. You can't just be, when we want them to be European colonists, they're European colonists. But when it comes to them kidnapping Moors, now they're the government. Like, no.
Yeah, no.
It don't work like that.
Yeah. Stop the BS.
It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't work like that.
Well, yeah, make sure you spread the word. Make sure you spread the word that we're on Canaanland Moors too, because we had about 50 people up in here. So put it on your Instagram, put it on your Facebook, stream this live on your Facebook, whatever. Let's get our 50, 60, whoever people were in here before these people went and snitched playing games. And again, they never call out the highwayman. Never. Only on their platform. When it's convenient for them to look like they're about some liberation of their people. Only then.
Yep. And another thing too, when they always want to say that they're federally recognized, what is that? I don't, like, you're saying colonizer recognize you as being what? Like, they're colonists.
Yep.
A colonist can't recognize anything. So when they always be like, the such and such tribe is federally recognized, stop saying that. That's a colonist. That's a modern European colonist. And you have to, like, once you put it in that wordage, like, these are modern European colonists that are recognizing it. Like, that's fraud. You can't say that. You can't say that, because that's why I always ask them. They're like, well, who recognized the Moors? And I'm like, you guys running around here saying you guys are federally recognized, and those are modern Europeans, colonists that you're saying recognize you, but in the same breath, you're saying they stole your land, but now they recognize us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's idiot. Come on. That's the stuff we be talking about. And their whole, like, that's fraud. You can't do that, man. You can't play both sides. And that's their whole thing. They love trying to play the both sides. And what they end up doing is arguing amongst each other and stuff like that. Because now we're calling ourselves this, we're calling ourselves that. They got new names for themselves every week now, too. Like he was showing in the video, he was calling them Neji, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I don't even know. They just got a new name for themselves every other week, and it's incredible. Because they stand away from the 4-letter word. More. They all know what more is. But since they want to I want to be the guy, look at me. Now it's not working.
Yeah. That's
I
me.
got the 50K plus views.
Mm-hmm.
When that's, and I know that they're buying views. I remember Frank Gehry, he posted a video up. I was on YouTube. Just went on there. It said just now. For Frank Gehry for his video, 3,000 views. I said, yo, how did that happen?
Yep. How?
It says just now, and it says 3,000 views. I'm like, yo, how? How does that work? How does that work? It says just now, 3,000. Yeah, okay. Somebody's buying views. Buying views just to trick the people. That whole debate stuff, like you was talking about earlier. That whole debate, that's what the whole thing is about. Debates. That's why they let Dan Calloway on that platform aside that and stuff, because that it can be debated. Once Morris come on there, it's the end. He knows what. That's why he knows what Morris to let on there. He'll let Taharka come on that channel because he knows that that's something that's laughable. He's not a Taj or a Cujo or a Set and Rod. Like he's not letting that come back on there. Like no, because there's no debating with that. It calls him out. It makes him look folly. It's like, okay, well, if you're letting Morris come on there and they're telling us what it is and why we're suffering, why you just don't let Morris come on there all the time? You know what I mean? And stop the buffoonery. Stop letting all these other guys come on there talking about
nothing. Nothing. Just talking. Just up there talking.
Just talking. Talking. No, nothing. Nothing. Like Horace Butler said, and I'm sorry, but these Negro scholars so stuck on the Nile, he was killing them.
Stuck on the Nile. These Negro scholars stuck on the Nile.
And then now you got these guys coming on here who make it seem as if they say it themselves. Oh, we've been doing this for a while now. And I'm like, yo, you just lied.
Yep.
We just seen the video of Dan Calloway from 2015 where he said himself that his mother called him ignorant bastard.
Yep. His mom called him
like
an ignorant
I made
bastard.
this up.
Yep.
He said it.
His mom called him an ignorant bastard.
And now if that's just well, you know how they do in their music. No, that's not how that goes.
Yeah. That's his mom.
You can't be. It's either you're a fake rapper, you know what I mean, or you're just whatever you're saying is the truth. You know what I mean? Like they crucified Rick Ross for doing that fake stuff.
Oh yeah, he got crucified.
So, like, don't make it seem like he can just say that and it's part of no. Mm-mm. He made it seem as if that's what it was. He said that. He said his life was like that. That's their liberation guy. And then now he wants to go around and look, this is their liberation guy. He goes around and as if he's somebody else's page and going around watching Canaanland Moors, snitching and doing stuff like this in the guise of it's not him. It's him. This is their liberation guy playing these games. This is what they do. Because they're not in it to help their people. They're in it for their views, for their platform, for themselves. They don't care about nobody's children getting out of slavery. They don't care about none of that.
None of that.
None of that.
You don't care about people not getting violated by highwaymen? None of that.
None of that. That's a joke to them. They posting that like that's a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke for Moors to get kidnapped by Europeans.
That's crimes against humanity. I remember I went to a class one day in so-called Harlem, and the mother was talking about those classes. I mean, those shows of all those cop shows that they be having on TV, arresting Moors and stuff like that. She was like, we should be saving all those episodes, charging these people for human trafficking, crimes against humanity. I'm like, my brain was just all the way wrong. Like, I used to look at that like, oh, look at the shows on. No, this is human trafficking.
Yep.
Crimes against humanity, the Spanish Inquisition still continuing on TV now. Like on it's TV. A joke.
It's a show. It's a show now.
And me knowing better now, it's like, man, they that's crazy that they were doing that. And he's posting it up there like it's a they're the government. Moors are wrong. None of that Moor stuff works. Crimes against humanity. Spanish Inquisition. Still continuing.
And they're not calling that out.
Right, because these are the Aboriginal indigenous guys. That's clearly a highwayman that's a modern European.
Mm-hmm.
How could he be an officer if you guys, Dan Calloway, have faced Olmec and you? If you're the guy, wouldn't you be the officer? Shouldn't you be the guy? That's a colonizer. That's not the people of the land. He can't be the government. That's fraud. Because he's not the de jure people of the land. It's not his house. So he can't run what's going on in here. But you're saying he can. He's posting videos up like he can. European up there lying, talking about America as a country. I said, look at this highwayman lying.
Yeah. America's a country.
Lying. I said, this is their guy? This is who he's promoting?
Lying.
Because this is what he's saying. Everything that's coming out of this European's mouth is what it is. That's what it is, because everything the Moor is saying is wrong. So whatever the European is saying is correct.
Since they use my picture, I got a right to press play on this shit, though. Fuck them. Since they're using my picture and shit.
It's you.
Using my picture, play this shit.
We passed this vehicle, and the operator didn't have a seatbelt on. It's got tinted windows. I stopped the vehicle. What's going on? And the operator didn't have a seatbelt on. It's got tinted windows.
Oh, you got tinted windows, and you know he doesn't have a seatbelt on, and you're behind him. How?
Liar. Already.
How? How?
That's a highwayman.
How? I really want to know how. I really want to know how. How are they not calling out the fact that this highwayman is pulling over somebody for a seatbelt? Oh, hold on. Let's just reiterate some things.
Miranda versus Arizona. Where rights secured by the Constitution are involved, there can be no rulemaking or legislation which would abrogate them. Cooper versus Aaron. No state legislator or executive or judicial officer can war against the Constitution without violating his undertaking to support it. D. Gibbons versus Ogun. Persons are not subjects of commerce, and not being imported goods, they do not fall within the meaning founded upon the Constitution of a power given to Congress to regulate commerce and the prohibition of the states for imposing a duty on imported goods. Penhallow versus Doings. Administrators define governments distinctly. Governments are corporations, inasmuch as every government is an artificial person, an abstraction, a creature of the mind only. A government can deal only with artificial persons, the imaginary, having no reality or substance, cannot create or attain parity with the real. Murdoch versus Pennsylvania. No state shall convert a liberty into a privilege, license it, and attach a fee to it.
Oh, so if you have a liberty called right to travel, and they're trying to tell you you need a license in order to exercise the right, doesn't that mean that they converted a liberty into a privilege, licensed it, and now they're attaching a fee, which is feudal to it? But these Aboriginal indigenous guys would never, ever talk about that because they have to prove that they're indigenous, they're Aboriginal, they're autochthonous, but let highwaymen run amok and violate people's rights. Just let highwaymen run amok and then upload it using Kudroel's picture to try to make it look like Moors exercising their right. All they do is get kidnapped. All they do is get arrested. All they do is get taken to jail because the highwayman said that they violated something.
Yep.
What's up, Mark? Go ahead,
If I
Mark.
can just add on to that.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
To the brother who was speaking, right? To the brother who was speaking on in the video about the right to travel. Just want to add on because again, they're making it seem as if modern European colonists, who just told the man, the Moor in the conveyance that he told them, he was a Moorish American. He said, "Well, you're in the United States now." Well, okay, this is now. That's their guy. European colonist Dan Calloway is saying when he said that you're in the United States now, that's the truth. That means no Turtle Island. That throws out the window because he's agreeing to whatever this European colonist is saying that's going to happen to this Moor.
Yeah.
Now, this is in the book to go along with that. The United States, you're in the United States now. This is jurisprudence, text and reading on the philosophy of law, 3rd edition, in chapter 1. It says comments on jurisprudence. It's speaking on law. It says law's existence. It says consider the United States. It exists, and yet it does not. A massive land exists that is in part bounded by natural features. The Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific, the Gulf of Mexico. But when the United States appears on a map with lines drawn to separate the U.S. from Mexico or Canada, those lines are political creations, not descriptions of real characteristics of land itself. When we speak of the United States or New York or Texas or General Motors, we are speaking of legal entity, one that has existence only because we agree that it exists. We may term it a social construct. This is their United States, not General Motors. All of that, same thing. United States and General Motors is the same thing. What does that have to? How can General Motors employees go around kidnapping people? How does that work?
And then so-called indigenous people aren't talking about it.
Right.
They're going to talk about the individual who got violated was wrong because they should have had a license. How's the victim wrong? How's the person who got raped by 10 dudes wrong? How's the one who got rushed by 20 guys just because they were a European wrong?
What's going on? What's up, man? You got your license, registration, insurance on you? I just have my name and I can give you all that once you give me the stuff that I need to get. It's private information. It's not private information. I'm a Moorish American national. What's that? I don't have jurisdiction on me. I'm a Moorish American national. Okay.
Now, the fact that he claimed that he's a Moorish American national, automatically, he's supposed to go back to his car. Automatically, he's supposed to go back to his car. But if you think that it's some BS being Moorish American nationals, let's just double check some stuff here. Let's just double check just to make sure, because people like to play games.
We started thinking like the colonists, we know what you are. We started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists, we know what you are. We started dropping it.
I'm a national, so.
You're a what?
A national, not a United States citizen.
You're not a United States citizen?
No, a national.
Where's your birthday on here?
So this is 28th day of self-existing moon. 15046. It's 15046 Asiatic calendar year. We do by the cosmic law. The cosmic law, the universal law, when you're indigenous, we don't use it with the Gregorian calendar. So it's 1406 Asiatic calendar year.
So how old does that make you?
51.
51?
If you would like to read over my security agreement, you could read it. So, and this is with the Secretary of
So, while you were in the United States, how long are you here for?
Actually, I plan on going to Morocco soon.
Okay.
Yeah. So
who does the vehicle belong to?
It actually belongs to me. I got it from Dorian. Who is Anastasia? Glenn Maxwell.
Okay. Do you have anything that says that you can drive the vehicle on the California roadways?
Yeah, right there. This is it right here.
Where does it say here? Show me. I'm not familiar with this.
Okay. It's called a right to navigation travel by private conveyance. Okay. The United States Supreme Court has determined that state laws are unconstitutional should they mandate restrictions or licensing, registration, and insurance requirements as follows. The right to travel and the right to motor conveyance, right to locomotion are all absolute rights, and the police cannot make void the exercise of rights. That's State versus Amstead and so forth. The use of the highway for the purpose of travel and transportation is not a mere privilege, but a common and fundamental right of which the public and natural beings can not rightfully be deprived. Chicago Board of Post, Russia, Chicago. And if you would like to read that, you can.
Okay, so what do you have as far as information on the vehicle, so I know it belongs to you and I know it's not stolen?
Okay.
So at this point, having license, not having license, whatever, out the window. Show me that you can operate this property right here, because you got me on the constitutional law that the state can't violate your rights. And being that that individual is hired by municipal or state or whatever, then he's right now in violation, and he knows that. How come the Aboriginal indigenous guys won't tell you that? Well, let's go back again to the Indian guys using highwayman's videos to try to make Moors look crazy, right? So again, what was the mother doing? The mother had something to give to these people when they stopped them. Obviously, if you have nothing to show them and you don't show them anything, they're gonna think you're up to something. Obviously, they're gonna think you're up to something. Obviously, they're gonna think, well, if you're a Moorish American national, you should have something to show that you're a Moorish American national. Don't just say that out your mouth and expect these people are colonists. Why would you expect them to do something right? They're colonists.
So you're driving a vehicle in the state of Rhode Island, right? I'm not driving, I'm traveling. You're traveling? Yes. You're a sovereign citizen? Oh, no, I'm not a sovereign citizen. You're not a sovereign citizen. You're pulling me over. You're basically interrogating me right now. No, I'm not interrogating you. I want your basic information. Right, well, when you conduct a vehicle stop, the law of the state of Rhode Island, the law of the United States of America, you're not cooperating with me. You're not giving me your license. You're not giving me your registration. He's a sovereign citizen.
That's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie.
Didn't he just ask him and he told him he wasn't?
He just told him, I'm not a sovereign citizen. And then here they go with their SPLC BS. That SPLC already got debunked that you guys are full of shit or whatever. Right? They are playing games. And they are using the highwaymen to play games.
Okay.
This is your own, remember. These are Aboriginal indigenous guys that are using this video to try to say that, oh, look, what the Moors are doing is not right. It doesn't work or whatever. There's a lot more.
Right. It just proves again, too, that he's siding with SPLC. He's siding with them because remember, once again, everything that this colonizer highwayman is saying, he's saying is what the facts are because that's the government and to them, and none of that more stuff works. See, look, that's what his whole example is for. That more stuff doesn't work because the government, they're the government. See. So when they got out the conveyance and they're saying, oh, he is a sovereign citizen doing the SPLC tactics, he's siding with the SPLC because everything this colonizer is saying, he's saying that that's the truth. That's what it is. See, none of that works. None of that stuff works because the colonizer. But he's looking at it as if they're the government. Mm-hmm. But these guys are, they're the ones whose page says American Indian Truth. Like, come on, that whole thing is your title was colored. Your title was colored. That's Los Indios. There's no such thing as Indian. That's not a nothing. That's nothing.
No
Los
Indios,
the godless ones. American Los Indios.
No such thing. No such thing.
There's no such thing as an Indian. That word, the word itself doesn't. That's Gaga Google. That's what that is. Indians Gaga Google. That's not a word. That's nothing.
It's not a word.
Yes, this is their leaders. This is their leaders. Selling you out, your children out, the rest of your consanguinity, selling us out. Selling us out. You know, they weep and moan, you know, Korean Games and all you know, Eric Gardner. These people want that stuff to happen.
Yep.
They make notes off of that.
Yep.
These people, they need that to happen. That's how they get the people to weep and they can feed off of their emotions. Then they start getting grants and all of that. These people, they love when we get killed. Our own. They make good finance off of that. Lying.
Straight lying.
They don't even know who we are. As soon as we ask them, they just start sugarcoating. You know, there's no straight answer. There's never a straight answer.
Crazy.
He snitched on you, Grand Sheik. Said, "How's the mic? What's wrong with your mic?"
Yo, what's wrong with the mic?
Snitched.
Know exactly what they're doing. Know exactly what they're doing. Know exactly what they're doing.
Now I'm asking you to step out of the car.
Oh yeah, and again, just want to put it out there again, right? Because these people used my picture for their thumbnail of their video is why I'm playing this. So in case they snitch on this one too, now you know. Right? Just because they're using my picture for their thumbnail, I think I have a right to play this.
I'm going to talk to you back here. Come on. Step out of the car. You're either going to step out or we're going to pull you out of the car. You're going to come back here and talk to me. Okay, that's fine. I'm not reaching Brandon. Come out of the car. I have no reason to get out of the car. Because I'm telling you to. Jurisdiction under colorful laws. I'm a Moorish American national. I'm a Moorish American national. Let's go. Come on. Interfering with international law. Get out of the car. Interfering with international law. Nope. Just stand up. Just stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Okay. I have no problem. You can come right over here.
Now, keep in mind, if that's the car right there, this is not a dash cam. Who's filming this? Who's filming this? $1 million question. Who's filming this? Because this is not a dash cam. Is this news? Is this a documentary on sovereign citizens? Is this like who's filming this? And again, because people are caught up in this YouTube upload video, whatever, they're not realizing that this is not a dash cam. These people never have cameramen following them, filming people, pulling over people. All of a sudden, there's a cameraman there for them pulling over a Moorish American. All of a sudden. And if this is a body cam, then whoever this is probably about 7 feet or whatever. Let's go again. Let's go again. Body cam, right? If this is a body cam, whose chest is above the damn dashboard. And if he's 7 feet, he's probably 8 feet if his chest is above the dashboard, then...
We passed this vehicle and the operator didn't have a seatbelt on. It's got tinted windows.
A chest is below a head. So if this is a helmet cam or something like that, this must be a helmet cam. This must be a helmet cam. Since when they got helmet cam? Highwaymen have helmet camera. Highwayman got a helmet cam? Stop the BS. These people are playing games. This is orchestrated. And then now we gotta ask how this guy get this video. Aboriginal Indigenous guy. Who you know that you got the video? Oh, some TV show or whatever. Oh, so TV's not real. So why are they trying to push this as if this is something real? This is cops. This is cops. So we're gonna take this serious. Moore already told him that he's Moorish American. They know they don't have jurisdiction. Or then they're gonna call him sovereign citizen when you told them what their nationality was? Isn't that denationalization? Oh, but the Aboriginal Indian guys, they're not gonna talk about highwayman denationalizing the Moor.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not reaching for anything.
Come out of the car.
I have no reason to get out of the car.
Because I'm telling you to.
Jurisdiction under colorable laws. I'm a Moorish American national. I'm a Moorish American national.
Let's go. Come on.
Interfering with
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Interfering with international law.
Nope. Just stand up. Just stand up. Stand up. Stand up.
My hands are up.
Okay.
I have no problem here.
You can come right over here, and you're gonna sit right here.
Yeah, no problem. You're right here. Cooperating.
You were not.
I
Just a second ago.
I was in the car.
We just had to extract you from the car.
No, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what's going through your mind right now.
No, I don't know any Moorish Americans that don't have their turban or fez when they're operating conveyance.
Right.
Gotta have something. Gotta have something on. But this is what these Aboriginal Indigenous people are using to try to make Moors look like what we're doing doesn't work or whatever. Then they got some actor guy out here saying he's Moorish American national and all that. Mother gets out, she doesn't have no head covering. What Moorish American national you talking about? And again, going back to the beginning, if his windows are tinted, what do you mean you saw he wasn't wearing a seatbelt? Or you saw him through the front that he didn't wear a seatbelt. Okay. Oh, let's just reiterate some more stuff here.
Shuttlesworth versus Birmingham. If the state converts a liberty into a privilege, the citizen can engage in the right with impunity. Owens versus City. The state is prohibited from violating substantive rights, and it cannot do by one power, for example, police power, that which is, for example, prohibited expressly to any other such power, for example, taxation/eminent domain, as a matter of law. U.S. and UT versus Daniels, nor indirectly that which is prohibited to it directly. Fairbanks versus U.S. Hoffsummer versus Hayes. The courts are not bound by an officer's interpretation of the law under which he presumes to act. Rodney Gale. Class versus North Carolina Department of Transportation by an officer.
This one again.
Hoffsummer versus Hayes. The courts are not bound by an officer's interpretation of the law under which he presumes to act.
Oh, okay. Let's just go back to this.
I'm kind of panicking because you guys have put me on. You said it was for.
I've asked you very politely.
I have identified myself. I'm
Very politely.
moving to approach you anyway.
Okay, stay right there. Stay leaning back.
I have you as a kidnapping right now.
No, we're not.
Against my will.
It's called being detained. This is the. Do you live in America?
No.
Do you live in America?
I live in the continent of America. Yes.
The continent of America.
Yes.
No, you live in the country of America.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's their guy.
You tell me that a highwayman calling America a country is not violation of
Hoffsummer versus Hayes. The courts are not bound by an officer's interpretation of the law under which he presumes to act.
these are the people that they're using as credible to show that Moorish American nationality does not exist. The guy who thinks America is a country is who they're using. The guy who thinks America is a country is who they're using as credible. Aboriginal American Indian guy.
Where we have a set of rules. We have a constitution,
Under the
okay?
US jurisdiction.
And under the Fourth Amendment, you're being detained right now.
Holding me.
Do you have a driver's license?
I don't require a driver's
That
license.
doesn't answer my question. Do you have a driver's license?
No, I do not have a driver's license. I have a common law right to travel. Here's my right to travel identification, or here's my right to travel paperwork. Because you're not leaving by not showing them anything. You're not leaving without showing them anything. It's in your best interest to know the law, for sure. For sure. You need to know it, no doubt. But you better have something to show.
Look in here. If you want to call or put her on a speakerphone and ask what kind of phone. You got my phone? Call Anastasia and put her on the speakerphone so the office open here.
Texting.
Something.
Yeah.
Some kind of piece of paper or form that's got the.
Did you knock some paper down?
That's got the
Looking at Quran to see if it's
license number or.
Okay.
Let me talk to phone.
I just want that. I'm trying to text this one person.
And then we'll take a copy too. Where did you put it? It wasn't in Quran.
Marisha said hi.
Okay. And look for here in the security agreement about
Which is that?
yeah, it's just good too.
Where are you living while you're here?
On Brentwood on 2161 Sand Creek Road. Yes, I have, but they just told me to go here. Yeah. Okay. And if if you like to copy, Anastasia, if you could please pick up the phone, it'd be appreciated. Thank you. It's regarding the car that I bought from your brother. Okay. Yeah, but if you like a copy of that, you can have a copy, so that way you can just.
I need the
read up on this, so I know.
Yeah.
So I know.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, you can call Oakland Internal Affairs, and my name is listed with them. They sent me a letter of apology because the officer, you know, I was going to file a claim, but I decided not to. They sent me a letter of apology, and now they made the police department aware of, you know, like we on a diplomatic status of about taking the vehicles, because, you know, if you contract with DMV, like, okay, let me explain something. Like the word vehicle, those are contract, those are commercial terms, but your car or automobile, those are your private possessions. So common law is never changed. It means that you have the right to travel the roadway the same as horses and wagons. So you can't really take the right of people and turn it into a crime or turn it into a privilege, because this is your personal possession. So that law has never ever changed. So they, I mean, I have a letter from Senator Dianne Feinstein, and the Internal Affairs. I wish I had that letter on me right now, but if you like, I can.
No, I'm believing you.
Okay.
I'm certainly believing you.
Okay.
It's just that any car that doesn't have a license plate, state of California, we have the right to stop and investigate why it doesn't have a license plate, and so forth. So
okay, check it out, because
I definitely will.
Especially this right here. And what I could do is I could give you this copy for yourself.
Well, do you have another one for you?
Yeah, I have the original copy, because I thought I had my original copy with me. I said, this is just my copy. This is like my original copy. But
so what country are you from?
Northwest of Mexico.
Where's that at?
Actually, it's North America. So I'm here. So between, you know, I'm going back to Morocco. It's like a little piece of paper.
I think you left it.
Okay, go right again. It was bought from a lien sale to Dorian, I guess Maxwell. That's her brother's last name. Let me call back again as well.
Tell me these people aren't violating, and then they're not gonna upload this on their channel. They're not gonna upload the more having the highwayman stop in his tracks and want to learn. They're gonna show you some fake made up stuff. Remember, there's somebody in the back seat with the phone, they're talking and stuff like that. So you know this isn't staged. You know this isn't staged. But they're gonna show you some stage stuff to try to tell you that Moorish American is not really a nationality. Islam, more, you have anything to add in?
Right, because this is another form of Judge Judy, Judge Mathis. This is a talk show.
Yep.
That show, so they hire actors or whatever to come on there. Oh, that ain't nothing. You know, that whole thing could be staged. Like you said earlier, I don't see no fez, no ID, no nothing. Just nothing. Just him talking. You know, not even plates, nothing. Expired plates and all, nothing. No Moorish tags, nothing. No ID, no paperwork, no fez, no nothing. Just, you know. So if you get out and they, you know, because they're thinking when they see that, automatically they're thinking, oh, this is some black guy who watched something on some video. You know, you're not in your attire, your culture. You're not in that. So, you know, like that's another problem that the man is having himself too in that situation. But at the same time, you know, it still is colonizing. You know what I mean? But we're under colonization.
And keep in mind, I heard somebody in the chat talk about the Pope put all these people on notice. Don't forget, ain't no Pope put anybody on notice. It was Anna Maria Reisinger and James Clinton Belcher who put out the book, You Know Something is Wrong When. And in the book, they have the affidavit of probable cause where they start talking about United States Inc. and State of Alaska Inc. and Unum Sanctum Global Estate Trust and all that stuff. Ain't no Pope that wrote that. That was some Europeans who know what's up. And they're just putting the truth out, trying to free themselves from these same people who are European. Trust me, I have the book right here. And they have 109 sections in their affidavit of probable cause.
Wow.
109 sections.
Wow.
Right, there are 109 stuff in here, right? Just to throw some out there. Section 72. We say, as the only sworn witnesses having first-hand knowledge of the facts, that no actual cash ever traded hands in the transaction discussed throughout case 3AN12685-8CI, and that the U.S. Small Business Administration received our promissory note without disclosure of its value and without disclosing its own status as a false forefront for undisclosed banking interests. This is important because the bank knowingly misrepresented itself as a government institution offering a federal disaster loan and obscured both its nature and identity. Section 15. We say that our honorable American dollar, defined as fine silver and issued by the continental United States, has been deliberately confused via semantic deceit with United States dollars, and the value thought to be vested in these US dollars represented by Federal Reserve notes has been devalued by more than 98% by the perpetrators of this gigantic fraud. I, Anna Maria Reisinger, affiant identified this day, do affirm that I am sending true and correct copies of this affidavit to the following receipts via U.S. certified mail. Pope Francis, Her Royal Majesty Elizabeth II, President Barack Hussein Obama, Vice President Joe Biden, Secretary of State Jacob Lew, Treasurer of the United States Rosa Guamatateo Rios, Secretary of State John Kerry, Secretary of Defense Ashton Carter, Attorney General Loretta E. Lynch, State of Alaska Governor William Walker, Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System Janet L. Yellen, Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund Christine Lagarde, Director General of the Universal Postal Union Bashar Abdirahman Hussein, General Martin E. Dempsey, Chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral James A. Winfield, Vice Chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff, Vice Admiral Kirk W. Tidd, Joint Chiefs of Staff, Alaska Congressional Delegation, William C. Hubbard, President of the American Bar Association, Frank Keating, President of the American Bankers Association, Camden R. Fine, President of Independent Community Bankers of America. So affirmed this 22nd day, June 2015, non-negotiable autograph and seal, Anna Maria Stuff. And remember, they're giving this out free. They might not anymore because, you know. Email AVANNAVON AVANNAVON@gmail.com. Information in support. Some Europeans 274 pages of them just spilling the beans on everything. The Indian answer, what to do when they have guns and clubs, make them look bad. In 2009, a delegation of Americans had an audience with Pope Benedict, and all his dirty laundry got aired. The Americans complained about the misadministration of the federal government and the plundering of the individual public trusts. They got into the deep issue of the law of the sea being allowed to trespass on the law of the land. The Pope is the international trustee. Our agreements clearly state that Americans live under the law of the land. Benedict looked like he was ready to faint. It was the same look a man might have if his horse suddenly talked to him, or if he looked up and saw flying pigs in the sky overhead. Exit Benedict and enter Francis, Pope Extraordinaire, Jesuit, and designated damage control moderator. He has given the offering corporations 3 years to straighten up their acts, this is motu proprio, and come into compliance with their charters, or they will be liquidated. The clock started ticking July 1st, 2013, and will stop ticking June 30th, 2016. Pope Francis has taken major steps toward correction of the church and the church's administration of the global estate trust. He has rewritten the International Criminal Code and held the lawyers and judges and clerks who are primarily responsible for the misadministration of justice liable for their acts and omissions. Motu proprio, July 11, 2013. He has undertaken an exhaustive global diplomatic mission seeking to establish an honest banking system. Most of all, he has sought to keep the peace and avoid any conflict among the religions supporting the law of the land. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam should stand together against the cult of the mystery Babylon instead of being hoodwinked into fighting each other and letting their enemies profit from their mutual destruction. Europeans. But then you have Aboriginal indigenous guys trying to convince you about some highwaymen who already got shut down by their so-called Pope. There's a lot more. You have anything to add in?
Yeah, it's a lot. And you got to also remember who they're showing too, that these highwaymen that they're showing, they're all in the fraternal order. These are all Masons. You know, like if you Google that fraternal order police stuff, it's the world's largest fraternal order group in the world. Is the highwaymen here in Morocco. It's the world's largest fraternal order in the world is the highwaymen here. And we see what they do. Their job is to kidnap more. That's Spanish Inquisition. They're a fraternal order. They have lodges. I think they have over 36,000 lodges or something crazy. 2,100 lodges. They have over 2,100 lodges. And you know, they're all that fraternal order. These people are still Masons. These Europeans is walking around. They know who the Moors are, you know. But they're doing Spanish Inquisitional practices. This ain't a race game, and they know who exactly who the Moors are. It's just, you know, they're criminals. They're highwaymen. They have to be on. They're telling you whose side they're on. You know, but that was I remember me and the Grand Sheik having a conversation about, you know, now, if that Moor wanted to go ahead and sue, you know, and go ahead and do all of that, the thing wouldn't be like if he wins or loses and gets Federal Reserve notes. The whole thing is, you know, like that highwayman has to go to court. He he has to take time out of his life. You know, he can't be spending time with the fam after work or before work. He got to go to court or something like that, because if he got to hire some lawyer or whatever and do all of that, it starts bothering their finance already before the more even, you know, wins or loses. This highwayman's already in debt because of the rights that he's violating from others more. You know, like that's the real thing. Like if you sue and, you know, they gotta hire lawyers, they gotta pay so-called court fees and stuff like that. That's where they start having these problems. It's not just, oh, the more sued for $9 million. Yeah, but win or lose, if that highwayman has to get lawyers and waste time, I'm pretty sure next time he sees them more, he's gonna start thinking about last time he violated them more, about all the stuff he had to go through.
Never violate again. Bet you. Bet you. Never violate again.
It wasn't, because, you know, they're going to do their whatever, you know, when you go to their kangaroo courts or whatever, you know, but the whole thing is, you know, somebody's got to pay for that. You know what I mean? They're not just going to let their boy just get away with, no, somebody's got to pay. And you already know more inappropriate persona, you know, can't pay debt with, you know, Federal Reserve notes. Only thing you can do pay a debt was gold and silver. So they're hit. You know, Morris is going in hard, but they got to pay for their lawyers and all of that. That's their problem. And next time they pull over, they're going to see him more. They're going to be like, I'm going to have to go through this again. Yeah, every time. Every time.
And again, this thing was locked down. Because we're going to remind you, 2008, when we were in Mecca, aka Chicago, the Moors had 3 to 5 car fleets when they traveled. And nobody's left behind. So if the first car went through and light was yellow, everybody's going through the light. No highwayman pulling them down. How come? Because every time they go to court, stuff gets dismissed. So you start realizing that, why are we giving these Moors tickets if we're not going to hit our quota? We might as well not give them tickets. Makes no sense to even give them tickets. 0 cents to give them tickets. Because it's a waste of our time as highwaymen. And there's a possibility that we might get sued if we give them tickets. Because we're violating our constitutional oath and we're bonded and all that stuff. So when they're showing you a coerced, orchestrated, staged video of a Moor getting pulled over, and then he said he's Moorish American, and they say, nah, he's not Moorish American, he's sovereign citizen, and they pull him out the car and they play this BS with him. Always ask yourself the question, how come they never showed you the video with Guidance Bay?
It'd just be like a little piece of paper if you could find it. Yeah, I'm putting it on the speaker so you can hear.
What's the address over on Sand Creek?
2161 Sand Creek Road.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a good day.
Oh, thank you. Okay. What's your name, officer?
Sergeant Shira.
Sergeant Shira. Okay.
It's Sheriff's Department.
I'm Guidance Bay.
Nice to meet
Here.
you. Thank you.
Keep that in your part and look it up, okay?
I will look it up. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay.
Mother told him, keep that in your car, okay, so that you could look that up. Yes, Mom. Yes, Mother.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes, Mother. No problem, Mother. I'll look that up. Oh, that's not all. Don't worry. You guys sit here. Since you want to watch videos of Moors getting pulled over.
I'm always work pulled over. Let's see what this is about.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The reason I'm pulling you over, man, I was right behind you. We were doing 80 and 55.
Okay.
You have license, registration,
No, I
insurance?
don't.
You don't?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't need that to travel. I'm a Moorish American national traveling to Morocco. I don't have to have. There you go. How's it get at y'all?
What's the deal, man? Can you roll this window down?
No, you can read that right there.
So I can talk to you?
I'm talking to you. Am I not? Can you not hear me clear enough? And you're also being video and audio recorded.
I understand. That's fine.
All right. If you read that, you will.
Okay, you don't have a license plate on your vehicle.
If you read,
you don't have driver's license.
if you read the paper, it will answer all of your questions.
What is this paper?
Explains to you policy enforcers that I have the inalienable right to travel without a driver's license, insurance, or state issued valid driver's license. This, I mean, if you read the first two lines on that paper, it's on there, and it's.
Well, that's fine. I just, like I said, I don't have. You're not telling me any information. You're not telling me who you are.
I don't have.
I told you why I pulled you over.
You're absolutely right.
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 Okay.
For you pulled me over for what reason again?
Because I'm on the highway right next to you, and you're doing 80 and 55 all the way up here.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's against the law.
It's not against the law.
To speed?
As a matter of fact, do you have a supervisor I can speak to? Because I'm going to exercise my inalienable right to remain silent. Because you won't. I've given you the paperwork. You won't even look at it to read it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get one started.
All right.
Okay? Go ahead and get your driver's license.
Moorish American national already said he does not have a contract with DMV or colonial corporate state. Why they keep going? What's the purpose of keeping going? Oh yeah, because it's a Moor and they test Moors. Test Moors.
If you're a corporate entity that adheres to the corporate laws, then you are 100% correct. You're 100% correct.
Are you a licensed driver in the state of Colorado, sir?
I'm not licensed in any state to drive.
Okay. So in the state of Colorado,
I'm exercising my inalienable right to travel.
You're required to have a driver's license to travel on the state of Colorado roadway.
That is not true, sir, but I'm not going to, I mean, it's not an argument for the side of the road.
Either. I'm just trying to get this rectified.
As am I, because I'm on my way to work and I'm late.
Officer, just pulling you over because you're traveling 80 miles an hour and opposed to 65 mile an hour speed limit. That's the reason why my officer's pulling you over.
Okay.
Okay. And that's what he was trying to explain to you. Is that
no, I understood that. I understood that was the reason for him, or his reason for stopping me. I understood that.
Right. So right now, all he's doing is conducting a traffic stop. So he's trying to find out who you are and explain the traffic infraction to you as to why he was stopping you. And that's the only thing he was doing.
Okay, if you can ask him, I didn't argue with him or anything.
We're perfectly fine, sir.
Okay.
And I'm not arguing with you either. I'm just explaining. That's all, because you requested a sergeant to come here. So I'm just advising you of what it is that he advised me.
Okay.
And that's all.
All right.
So did you supply him with your name and date of birth?
No, I didn't supply him with anything. It's not required. I'll give you this as well.
Okay.
I mean, this is Supreme Court law. So what you're saying is law that you're going by. I'm going by the Constitution, which you guys took an oath to, which is law in this country. It's law.
Right.
It states I don't have to identify myself. I don't have to have quote unquote state issued license plates, registration, or driver's license. I'm not driving. Driving is conducting commerce. I am traveling. Look at the definition. I'm just stating facts.
I understand.
All right.
You're certainly traveling, but the thing is, you're traveling on state roadway.
So
if you were traveling like on a rural roadway, things like that, that's certainly different.
Sir, I've run into state troopers. I run into federal agents, and the same applies. It's Supreme Court law, which is the highest law. It was supreme law of the land.
Right.
That is fact. That's why I have private property in the back of my window, registration. I mean, I've been through this several times.
Okay. So what you're saying is that you don't want to supply the officer with your name or date of birth or anything like that.
I'm not required to by law.
So what you're saying is that you don't want to.
I'm not required to by law, sir.
I'm asking you whether you want to.
My name is Tariq.
Tariq, thank you, sir. May I ask?
And I'm late to work.
Sorry.
That's all right. I'm all right.
Just curious as to what your travel is. Where are you going from here?
I'm going to Longmont. I'm traveling to Longmont.
You're going to Longmont.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Here's your paperwork back. Okay. I'm going to ask you for a favor. Okay. You're traveling in the municipality of Thornton, city of Thornton, state of Colorado. Okay. When you're traveling through our city, can you please adhere to the speed limit, not suggested speed limit, so that way the officer does not have to contact you. Is that an agreement we can have?
That's an agreement we can have.
Very good, sir. Then you can be on your way.
All right.
If you're good with, this is the officer that stopped you, just so that you know who stopped you.
Okay.
Okay. And again, like I said, it was for the speed limit violation, and that you didn't have a driver's license plate on your vehicle.
Okay, and like I said, the officer will tell you I wasn't rude or anything. That's specific. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. All right, yeah.
I'm fine with you right now, sir.
Okay, outstanding.
There's no reason to be rude or anything like that. I'm not.
Absolutely. No, sir.
Okay, yeah,
absolutely not.
All right.
A Moorish American national has no reason to be rude or argue because of the negligence of a policeman's comprehension of Moorish American nationals' right not to contract our life away to the DMV. Simply and politely ask to speak to a supervisor. No, it ain't. No big deal. Easy pickings, once you know. But again, the Indian guys would never upload this for you. Let's just put this out there. Since it was American Indian troops that uploaded this Moor getting violated by these highwaymen try to make cracks at Moors. Let's just put this out there. Moorish World History, Virginia edition. Kerry Allende L. Definition. Indian has been redefined as Moors in this work. There is no such thing as an Indian native to these shores of North America. However, there are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. As Indian would be the proper name of the inhabitants of India. Indian is a code word for Moor. This word derives from indigo, a black berry. It also alludes to the word colored, anything that has been stained, varnished, or dyed. The name Indian was the name used by Christopher Columbus, who named the Moors, and by tribal names to conceal the true identity of our bloodline, which connects us to the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. This was a deal between the popes, kings, and queens written in the law of conquest. Ever stop to think why the Moors of the Caribbean are referred to as West Indian? Indian Wars means killing of us Moors. 1776 to 1783 is the length of the Revolutionary War which killed the Moors off the land. The War of 1812 removed the Moors off the ocean. Barbary pirates means East Coast Moors who captured and held for ransom European colonists. British means corrupt Moorish students called brutish Moors, the ones the Moors employed to fight for us against the European. The Europeans have turned this around on us today, which is why we are destroying ourselves and are sent to go against one another. Brutish Moors comes from Brutium, Massachusetts Moors. These two groups were warring with European colonists. British Moors were loyal to the Moors, who they called the Tories or Turks. The colonists were known as the Continentals, in contradiction to the Tories, who were the adherents of the Moors. French, students of the Brutish Moors. Spanish, another name given to the Moors, who were discovered in Roanoke, Virginia, seen wearing Spanish costumes, who prayed as Mohammedans prayed. The Spanish are also referred to as Moors, who were expelled from Spain. Note, Spanish is different from Spaniards, as used in European history. The Hessian were Germans or Germen, who were helping the Moors fight against the Europeans. Their mother is a Moorish queen, Hezzian, Hezzzian. The Tuareg were the Turks fighting in the civil against the Confederates for our freedom. Jamestown, Virginia, the land of the so-called Pilgrim, first established the church, cross, double cross, the symbol of death, punishment, and despair. The church tomb of Jamestown, in which some of the Moors were buried. Tyrannus, or tyrants, means Moors. Moors called them Europeans. Tassas, Tassas, T-A-S-S-A-N-T-A-S-S-A-S, T-A-S-S-A-N-T-A-S-S-A-S, which meant strangers. Native American were also known as Asiatic tribes. Native infidels, another name given in history books to Moors by Europeans. Hold on one sec, more. Moors, you could just listen to this for 1 sec.
No, I do not. Okay, that's what I like. Yeah, I asked you a question, you give me an answer. You don't have a driver's license. I'm not driving. I'm not required. You were just driving. I was traveling. So you weren't driving. You were traveling. You were traveling in a car. I'm traveling. What do you do? What do you do to make a car move? Do you push it? But that's not neither here nor there. You're pulling me over. You see all these people around in cars? Are they all traveling too? Are they driving? Are they participating in commerce? Okay, we're not going to do this. We're going to bring you over here. Kidnapped. You're not being kidnapped. You're being lawfully detained. You're being arrested. Lawfully arrested. Have a seat. Have a seat. Okay, you're in America, so at this point he's obstructing an investigation. He's going to get arrested for that and for driving without a license, which he did admit he does not have a driver's license. So the owner of the vehicle is the female. She's in the passenger seat. She has an expired driver's license, so we're just going to tow the vehicle. Nope, you are placed under arrest. You are not kidnapped. Kidnapping is a crime. Okay, well, you're in the United States. Everything's going to be just fine. It's like being in timeout.
Right, and then Dane Calloway shoots on Moorish nationality ID card as the next video in the thing so that they can, keep playing their little game. But again, back to these guys. Native infidels, another name given in history books to Moors by European nations. Native raids means Moorish raids. Indian massacre means Moorish massacre. Chiefdom means sheikdom. Chief means sheik, both meaning elders. Sheik in the Algonquin tongue is Woroance, W-E-R-O-A-N-C-E. W-E-R-O-A-N-C-E. Sheikess in the Algonquin tongue is Waranaska. W-E-R-O-A-N-S-Q-U-A. W-E-R-O-A-N-S-Q-U-A. The original inhabitants of this land used the title sheik. Both chief and sheik also mean old man or head of the clan or tribesman. Many of the Asiatics of America use the term, but spell it S-H-I-E-K. Indians were classed as colored people, another mark placed upon the Moors of Northwest by European nations. Virginia in ancient days was called ancient Lebanon, also called ancient Byblos and Jaffa, which is considered to be the oldest inhabited city in the world.
What are you reading, Green Sheet?
Moorish World History, Virginia edition by Kerry Allende L. And you can go to msta9.com. msta9.com. So don't listen to these people with their Indian BS. They're full of BS. And don't forget, the term Moorish, as here applied, can scarcely be regarded as a deceptive one inasmuch as Montezuma, the king of Temistan and Mexico, is subsequently designated as a Moorish king in the same inventory of 1596. It is interesting to note the gradual changes that occur in the wording of the subsequent periodical official registrations of this Moorish hat. In 1613, its description was faithfully reproduced. In 1621, the word Indian was substituted for Moorish. With this single alteration, the original text was again transcribed in 1730. Among Archduke Ferdinand's 1596 inventory, the Kunstkammer chamber, were many relics of authority, and it has long baffled some historians as to why all the Mexican items were called Moorish. Baffled as to why the Mexican stuff was called Moorish. Why they do that for? Why they do that? Keep in mind, rectifications historicas, which means historical corrections, the synoptic chronological analysis in the year 1498, Admiral Colin, according to cartographer Morales, the name for the continent was Amaracapana, A-M-A-R-A-C-A-P-A-N-A, A-M-A-R-A-C-A-P-A-N-A. The name of the continent was Amaracapana by the natives, moreover by Castilla and other witnesses. I have translated parts of this record to show and prove that it was understood by Spanish and Portuguese navigators and historians that America was in fact regarded as a part of Africa's demarcation. The latter will reveal how it became the Spanish demarcation via the Treaty of Tordesillas between Spain and Portugal. El Almirante, El de Mayo Elegaba a dos islas cerca de Cuba. Translation: on May 10th, we arrived by 2 islands near Cuba. Cuba is part of the land of Africa. Vespucio, El de Mayo elegamos a la costa de Ethiopia. Translation: on May 10th, we arrived at the coast of Ethiopia. I would like to highlight the fact that both navigators referred to Cuba as part of the land of Africa in their historical rectifications. According to the book Narrative and Critical History of America, Volume 2, The Spanish Exploration and Settlements of North America from the 15th to the 17th Century, written by Justin Windsor, chapter entitled The Maps of the Earliest Discoveries, found on page 127, Carta Marina of Frisius, 1525, issued in 1525 in exposition of his theories of sea charts. The map is of interest as the sole instance in which North America is called a part of Africa, in the supposition that a continental connection by the south enclosed the sea towards the sunset. A New Systems of Modern Geography, Volume 2, by Benjamin Davis, 1805. Original population probably have been from Africa, where copper-colored nations with long hair have recently been disclosed. Again, Moorish World History, Virginia edition, Kerry Allende L. Indian is a fraud. America is part of Africa. Same thing that Noble Drew Ali been telling these Moors, that they're descendants of Moroccans born in America, and they're looking at Morocco as over there, not realizing that they're here already.
Thinking like the colonists, you know what you are, we started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists, you know what you are, we started dropping it.
Thank you, Sylvester Collins. This is Mr. Nolan, the AD. Go ahead, Mike. Judge, in regards to the traffic tickets that are on for today's trial, I had the opportunity to meet with the officer that wrote the tickets. We spoke at length. Due to the, I guess, time period that has lapsed since the issuing of the tickets, the officer has reviewed his notes, reviewed what happened, remembers writing the ticket, remembers the incident very well, but had informed me that, in fact, he could not identify whether Mr. Collins is the same Mr. Collins that he wrote the ticket to on that day. He just doesn't remember. It was for all intents and purposes, a minor traffic infraction at the time. So at this time, based on that, I don't think people will be able to prove that Mr. Collins was the actual operator, although we do believe that. The officer could not get on the stand and say that definitively. So without being able to identify him as the operator or driver of vehicle, I don't think we could prevail at trial. So instead of wasting everybody's time, at least on that those traffic tickets, the people would move to dismiss those traffic tickets at this time.
Okay, all tickets will be dismissed. Do you understand? Yes. And that's okay with you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like I said, Judge, the main thing is that the officer obviously does not want to say something that is inaccurate. Like I said, he remembers the incident. He just doesn't remember, Mr. Collins' face.
Islam more.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to yield because my son's friends just came.
Yeah,
for a while. I'm gonna have to show
don't
him
worry.
a little bit.
We about to close out soon. Don't worry more. You straight. But we'll build more. Islam more.
Rodney Dale, Class versus North Carolina Department of Transportation. Police Department is not an agency of the state. Owen versus Independence. Officers of the court have no immunity when violating a constitutional right for liability, for they are deemed to know law. Sapp versus Tallahassee. It is not the duty of the police to protect you. Their job is to protect the corporation and arrest code breakers. Michigan versus Duke. State police power extends only to immediate threats to public safety, health, welfare, etc., which driving and speeding are not. Hollander versus Lawson, in which the United States Supreme Court ruled that a police officer could not arrest a citizen merely for refusing to present identification. State versus Robinson. An illegal arrest is an assault and battery. The person so attempted to be restrained of his liberty has the same right to use force in defending himself as he would in any other assault and battery. Adams versus State. One may come to the aid of another being unlawfully arrested, just as he may where one is being assaulted, molested, raped, or kidnapped. Thus, it is not an offense to liberate one from the unlawful custody of an officer, even though he may have submitted to such custody without resistance. California versus Farley. Speeding, driving without a license, wrong plates or no plates, no registration, no tags, etc., have been held to be non-arrestable offenses. People versus Battle. Traffic infractions are not a crime. Kent versus Doles. The right to park or travel is part of the liberty of which the natural person, citizen, cannot be deprived without due process of law under the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution. State versus Armstead. The right to travel, the right to mode of conveyance, the right to locomotion are all absolute rights, and the police cannot make void the exercise of right. Thompson versus Smith. The right of a citizen to travel upon the public highways and to transport one's property thereon, either by carriage or automobile, is not a mere privilege, which a city may prohibit or permit at will, but a common right, which he or she has under the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Chicago Motor Coach versus Chicago. Gare versus Chicago. Boone versus Clark. The use of the highways for the purpose of travel and transportation is not a mere privilege, but a common and fundamental right, which the public and natural people cannot be deprived. Christie versus Elliott. Traveling in an automobile on the public roads was not a threat to the public safety or health and constituted no hazard to the public, and such a traveler owed no other duty to the public, example, the state. He or she and his and her auto having equal right to and on the roadways and highways as horses and wagons, etc. This same right is still substantive rule in that speeding, running stop signs, traveling without license plates or registration are not threats to the public safety and thus are not arrestable offenses.
Peace and love to all Moors. Islam. Don't forget, you can go to Moorish American 720, Supreme Court case laws. You should know. Supreme Court case laws, you should know. You should know. You should know those. You should know those. Right, 73,000 on this one. I'm pretty sure none of those were bought because people like drama. They just want to see if the Moor is going to get off. Well, he got off. How come you didn't proclaim your nationality? How come? Why? Why didn't you proclaim your nationality? No? And don't forget, it's just to remind you,
We started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. We started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. We started dropping.
go support Iron Sheik where that came from. Since you could give them 73,000 views, here's the original to 720.
dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. We know what you are, we started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists. We know what you are, we started dropping it.
Dirty Moors still attempt to infiltrate the order. Active Moors are truth and take it to the corners. Across highways, past hedges and through borders. Move on dirty Moors like walking down waters. Watch out for agents and provocateurs trying to get next to their heads with the doctor's cures. They never pay dues and don't pay dues, contradicting the King Alfred to give fools like you. No Wally died, some pale more blues. Prophet saved them as much before the 12 fell through, and that's true. Even though I don't have proof, cell memory tells me don't fall for spook. Drop mental loop, hanging from their own vine from the fig tree, looking up at them like baby. No white flag or mercy for you fags. 5-point and pentagram is on our flag. Green, but not for cream. That dirty Moors took to throw off the balance of the grand treasury books, getting offers like high school ballers. But that infiltrate are not Moors but robbers. Robbing the people blind, deaf, dumb, and crippled. They can't tear this up, not one drop or trickle. No matter how hard they try to perpetrate the fraud, dirty Moors always fall on their sword.
The problem is we start thinking like the colonists. They know what you are, we start dropping it. The problem is we start thinking like the colonists. They know what you are, we start dropping it. The problem is we start thinking like the colonists. They know what you are, we start dropping it. The problem is we start thinking like the colonists. They know what you are, we start dropping it.
When I play with on us, simmer and easy. From 19 how long, we see it sleazy. So sick, it's measly and disgusting. Everyone stood there. The Moors did nothing when Drew was attacked. They took the covenant that they will protect him and have his back. Behind on dues by 4 months. Going to kangaroo courts to perform stunts. Temples versus temples. Lawsuits from inner fights. Not doing their job. 3,500 for birthrights. Rookie Force not supposed to be in Gucci. Says a job. Thank Allah for the Sufi Moors and Buddhist Nagas. Moorish Mike Renaissance, not rap sagas. Confusion clearer. MC battle star wearer. Moorish nationality declarer. Straighten out the crooked ways. Rap conduct squarer.
The problem is we start thinking like the colonists. They know what you are, we start dropping it. The problem is we start thinking like the colonists. They know what you are, we start dropping it. The problem is we start thinking like the colonists. They know what you are, we start dropping it. The problem is we start thinking like the colonists. They know what you are, we start dropping it.
Let me strip them down, I'm the bone bearer. Negro, black, colored minority, death repairer. Not the being, but the label attached. See me like Martin. Going crazy, waving gats. Because you call yourself black, that's a kicking sign on your life. Can't stab your enemy holding the blade of the knife. Numbskull MCs flow, so does that. I'm pulling down Orishas like Skullcats to torture the rapper, scissor skippers. Rapper CD scratcher, insert ripper. Call me Jack and get slapped, though. Admiral when I flow major like macro. Don't spit on a cameraman like Black Will, but beat the case like Black Bill with no lawyer. Ask Jim Carrey, liars do nothing for you while they get rich and for you. Make you follow magistrate orders that get the coke to small from wood corners and block ghettos. All I see is rappers, dress codes, repetals, tight shirts, skinny jeans looking like heavy metal bands. I'm not Bay but L like bread and hands. I grab mics, no sweat in hands. With birthright brands, I don't worry about getting scammed.
The problem is we start thinking like the colonists. They know what you are, we start dropping it. The problem is we start thinking like the colonists. They know what you are, we start dropping it. The problem is we start thinking like the colonists. They know what you are, we start dropping it. The problem is we start thinking like the colonists. They know what you are, we start dropping it.
What up?